Hey guys, welcome back to Brian's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. And today's case is taking us back to Oregon, and one of my viewers or a friend of this woman's had sent me information on this case a while back, and I started working on the case because I had heard of it, and it was a case that I wanted to cover because I noticed that it didn't get that much media attention. And so I started working on it, and then I got another email from, I guess, one of her other friends. In that email, they sent me a lot of information, and then that email just sort of disappeared. I mean, it didn't get deleted. It just sort of disappeared. I mean, I couldn't find it anywhere. It was just the most bizarre thing. Can someone send an email and have it disappear? I don't know. In any event, today we're going to be talking about the disappearance of Alissa McCrann, and she went missing on December 19th of 2015. And this case is, I mean, the authorities once again did an amazing job with a huge search effort. So this takes us to a part of Oregon that is, now part of it took place in Portland, southeast part of Portland, and then another portion of it took place in the Multnomah Falls area. But it's a little confusing as to where she actually went missing, because her car was ultimately found in the Multnomah Falls parking lot. But let's first talk about who Alissa McCrann is. She is a Korean woman. She was 37 years old at the time of her disappearance. She's roughly 5 foot 3 inches tall. She's roughly about 145 pounds. She's got black shoulder-length hair. She's got brown eyes, and she has a tattoo of a raven on her back, and apparently a large Korean flag design on her lower back. And she was involved in tons of things. She was involved in a dodgeball team that she had joined under the Portland Underdog sports group. She was a member of the Timbers Army, which is just a group of people that love and are big fans of the local professional soccer teams. She was also involved in dragon boat racing, and she was a member of the Team Fusion PDX dragon boat team. And she was also known to be a foodie. She loved cooking. She loved going out to nice restaurants. And she had a 13-year-old. She has a 13-year-old son, which she loved spending time with, trying new foods with. And at the time of her disappearance, she was living with her parents in southeast Portland. And apparently they all got along well. Alissa had no past history of any mental illness or any drugs or alcohol, nothing like that. She was very outgoing, very smart. She was involved in the Cherry Hill PTA for her school, her son's school, excuse me. She loved the outdoors, and she was just, like her friends all loved her and said that she was just a wonderful person, very upbeat and happy. The night before she disappeared, she had gone over to a friend's house, and they all had dinner and movies and just hung out, and they said that it was a great time. Now, the next morning on Saturday, December 19th, apparently Alissa got up. Her normal routine was to get up and go for a run. So she got up and she started her run roughly at 7:30 a.m. According to some of her friends that posted the information that on her app, Endomondo, apparently the run started at exactly 7:21 a.m. The run was about 2.5 miles long, and it took her about 35 minutes. This was apparently just a 2.5 mile loop that Alissa would do in the southeast Portland area. This wasn't over by Multnomah Falls. This was just in the area of her neighborhood. She posted her last social media post at around 10 a.m. and she last spoke with one of her friends via texting right before 11:30 a.m. and that was apparently discussing a new Star Wars movie that had just come out. And that was unfortunately the last anybody had heard from her, or the last time she posted anything on social media. She wasn't actually reported missing until Monday, December 22nd, because she failed to show up for work at the Sunshine Dairy, and she was apparently a very fastidious employee. Her family had already begun to be worried, but this was when they actually got the search started. The authorities immediately went through her phone records and found that her last phone usage was at 10 a.m. on December 19th, and that was used to make a Facebook post, and after that everything just went to voicemail. And her phone did last ping in Cascade Avenue in Tigard, which is 45 minutes from Multnomah Falls, but even weirder, it's 25 minutes away from her home in southeast Portland, so they weren't really sure why it was pinging there. But we'll talk about that more in a little bit. On December 22nd, Alissa's 2001 Mazda CX-7 was found parked in the Multnomah Falls parking lot, sort of in the back area, and it was thought that there was a possible sighting of Alissa on Saturday afternoon around 3 p.m. near the Franklin Ridge Trail Loop, and they said that she was wearing running clothes, she had running shoes on, but no food or water with her, and she was not wearing suitable gear for cold weather. The couple that they had spoke to said that they advised Alissa to head back to her car, but she ran off down the trail in an apparent bid to stay warm. This Multnomah Falls area is very highly touristy. I mean, it's just a big attraction. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful waterfall. I mean, these videos and pictures don't do it justice, but it's also a very treacherous area. It can be very slick in areas. And they searched over 150 miles of trail in the various Columbia Gorge area, focusing in and around the Franklin Ridge. Over 100 various ground searchers were on foot. They had all kinds of sniffer dogs that were deployed. But unfortunately, the dogs didn't pick up anything. But in this particular case, because of the weather, that's not really that surprising, because it was very cold and rainy. It started out just damp. But then once you got above 1,000 feet in elevation, there was tons of snow falling. The one SAR guy reported that, they were getting over a foot of snow a day. They did have planes do flyovers looking for heat signatures and any sign of Alissa, but unfortunately those came up empty too. And then sadly, the search was suspended on Thursday, December 24th. Now, can you imagine Christmas Eve? And it just must have been awful. But the weather conditions had just gotten so dangerous. The sheriff's office had actually consulted with a doctor from the local OHSU hospital and the Portland Bureau of Police for Missing Persons, because they just didn't want to call off the search. I mean, here it's Christmas Eve and they still haven't found this woman. And unfortunately, after doing all that consulting, they still ended up calling off the search just because it was the conditions were just too dangerous. Search efforts did get back up and going on January 23rd of 2016. And unfortunately, at this time, the police were considering it a recovery mission, but a huge turnout came. There was tons of people out there searching. They went back and over the places they had already searched and expanded the searchers deep into the mountain and further into different areas of the trails. And unfortunately, even with the extra manpower from this search, they came up empty-handed. I mean, they didn't find any evidence, not one piece of clothing, nothing. So what could have happened to this wonderful single mom that had a great life going for her? She had gone out on runs every day. I mean, this was not like an unfamiliar thing for her. Well, apparently her friends and her teammates of some of the sports things that she did, I mean, they really got involved in this search, and they used different apps like on her phone. I know that they used Facebook to sort of figure out about the pinging, because no one could really understand why her phone had pinged in Tigard. But apparently when her car was found, they found a receipt in the passenger seat or in the car somewhere that was for repair or maintenance on the vehicle. I don't know why, but apparently they've never released like where that maintenance was done. Now, if I was running the investigation, obviously that would be my first stop, go to those people and say, hey, do you remember this person? She was in your store at this time. I'm sure the police have already done that. Maybe they're keeping it secret just because they have a hunch about something. That's always something that they do. They want to keep as much information contained that they don't have to release to the public, if in case they do decide that it's a foul play type case or some type of criminal activity. They can have that evidence. And Alissa's cell phone last pinged on a tower that was 45 minutes away from where her car was found. So her car was found out in Multnomah Falls, and the ping was in Tigard. So it's possible that she had gone to Tigard to get warranty work done on her Mazda 2011 SUV, because it was still under warranty and there was a place specifically in Tigard that did warranty work. So that would make sense, but I just wish we knew whether that she did this as a spur of the moment thing, if she had an appointment, if the police have actually investigated that. So that's just one thing that's, very curious, and hopefully that they're investigating. Now, what I had mentioned earlier is her friends used the Friends Nearby feature to basically look up and track Alissa's cell phone via the GPS app, and basically what they found was that it was her phone was been half a mile in between this place, Gabella's Sporting Goods store, and some bar, C&I Bar and Grill. And apparently this was less than 5 miles south of the Cascade Avenue where her cell phone had last pinged. So that really all made sense. But what they found was there is a park and trailhead right in that area that was apparently under construction until 2016. And what they said was, from looking at it on Google Earth, it just looked like it was very secluded, and they found out that there was a Fano Creek Trail, Ash Creek Trail, and a bunch of different trails all within a 5-mile radius, and they just felt like those would be good areas to be searched. Now, I don't know if they ever were, but I just thought that that was really awesome that her friends went and did that. So hopefully the police are looking into all these different leads, because I think that this case, despite what the police said, they said that they're not treating it like a criminal investigation, and they don't believe foul play is involved, because apparently they did take the car and they did do a forensic examination of it. But I'm just wondering what kind of tests they did and how thorough that examination was, because I know at the time they didn't consider this to be a criminal investigation. So those are all things that are taken into consideration when they're doing those kinds of tests and search. Just coming from a law enforcement family, I know that sometimes they won't do as thorough of an examination. Now, the reason I believe that this case smells of foul play are several reasons, because this woman had a great life. She was happy. She had a family that she lived with. She had a son. She had friends. Everybody said that she was very upbeat. She loved going out into the outdoors. She just had spent time the night before with friends. They all said that she was upbeat and happy, and I think that for her to just vanish on her own would just, like her friends and family said, would be completely out of character. Not to mention, who would leave a 13-year-old son behind? And from what her friends say, she would never do something like that. Plus, look at all the activities that she was involved in. Her son's PTA, she was involved in several different athletic teams, and she kept joining more things. So this was somebody that had a lot of roots in her community, and she knew the outdoors, she knew these areas. Like the fact that she was spotted at the Franklin Loop Trail, this is what's also curious. How did her car end up at the Multnomah Falls trailhead parking lot? How did it get there from when she was, so let's say that she was in Tigard, she got her car fixed, and then she decided, okay, well, I'm going to go on the loop trail, the Franklin Loop Trail. So that I can understand. But then what happened to her after that? And why, if she was so up on, she was very good about texting her friends, she was very good about letting people know where she was going to be, she even did stuff on social media, so why all of a sudden did she just decide for this thing, this trip, if she did go out to this Franklin Loop Trail, why didn't she post that? Why didn't she tell anybody about it? And how can we even know that she ever was at Multnomah Falls on that day, except for the one witness testimony that there's that couple that said they saw her at around the Franklin Loop Trail. That's really all the evidence that, and of course the fact that her car was found there, but who knows? I mean, somebody could just put her car there. All I'm saying is there's just so many variables in this case and just so many loose ends that just don't make sense to me. And I just don't think this is a straight up disappearance, like that she just got lost or injured, because that area, from what I understand, where that waterfall is and those trails is just very popular. There's tons of people there all the time. So I just don't see how someone else didn't see her, or if she had gotten injured, how come somebody wouldn't have come across her? I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. She could have definitely gone for a run and maybe twisted her ankle and fell off the trail or something. I mean, who knows? There's always that possibility too. But I just think that based on the search they did, which was very extensive, they probably would have found something. But then again, there's often times that they don't find anything. So of course it's hard to say. It's just my opinion that foul play should definitely be a consideration, especially because she was so close with her friends, her family, her son. Everything was going well for her. I just think that it's worth noting that too, that a year later another woman did disappear. Now that woman was subsequently found, and it was determined that she disappeared in the same area, and she was found, and it was determined that she had died from a fall, some kind of injury. So I don't think those two are related, but just worth noting that, that's a possibility. This could have happened to her too. Maybe it's as simple as, Alissa was trying out these new trails or just a different section of the trail, and she ended up getting hurt and falling, and they just haven't found her. I know that they found the other woman. She had been buried under a bunch of fall leaves. So, when you're lost out in the wilderness, or if someone is lost out in the wilderness, there's so many things that can obstruct finding them. So I'm not saying that it's definitely foul play. It's just something I think should be considered. Either way, I just can't imagine what her friends and family have gone through. I know a lot of people, her friends and family, have tried going back and searching again. And when I go out to Oregon next spring, this is definitely going to be on my agenda to retrace these steps and search in different areas of this part of the world. And I just can't imagine what they're going through and what her son has had to go through. And I just hope and pray that she can be brought home one way or another. I'd like to dedicate this video to Alissa Marie McCrann, her friends, her family, all her loved ones, and just hoping that she can be brought home soon. And if so in fact it's merited, get the justice that she deserves. My thoughts and prayers go out to her, her family, her friends, and everyone who's working and has worked so hard to try and bring her home. Thank you everybody for watching, as always, and please be respectful in the comments if you choose to leave them. Special thank you to co.ag for providing the background music, and I will see everybody in the next one. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with me to the end. If you'd like to be entered into the Halloween giveaway, as I said in the last two videos, just leave a comment, and all you need to do is either be a subscriber or please subscribe. And the giveaway is going to be 2 fanny packs, one to a woman, one to a man, and I'll be drawing that on Halloween. And thank you everybody for watching, as always, and thank you for all your support. So today's bucket list ideas, the first one is called Book and Bed, and it is in Tokyo, Japan, where you go and stay in this place that has all these books and all this awesome stuff and these lofts, and it just looks beautiful. The other place is called Betrams, and it's in Devon, the UK, which I've always wanted to go to the UK, and you literally stay in an old, street bus car, which just looks so cool.